some sad stories about the life of rock and rollers. Show me to the stage, Henry Gross, from his latest album, Rock Ballad, Elliot Murphy, from Just a Story from America, Ballad of Mott the Hoople from their greatest hits, and the Rolling Stones, It's Only Rock and Roll, from their like a few albums back album, It's Only Rock and Roll. Okay, not everything is quite that new.
That's the Yes Group from the Yes album, which is their third, and Starship Trooper, Starcastle before that from their second album, Fountains of Light. Here at the radio, WLIR FM, coming up on...
Even though I know Flame is not a person, it's a group, which is headed by Marge Raymond, who seems to be from Brooklyn, from what people tell me, so that maybe Brooklyn does have some nice redeeming social quality to it. The album is dedicated to Bonnie and Clyde, not bad, and mentions thanks to a number of people that would be of interest later on. Beg Me. Steve Harley and Cockney Rebel started off that set. Love's a Prima Donna, the title track from that new album. Eddie and the Hot Rods, one of those British punk rock groups I was talking about before, who do something which is by an old person. As a matter of fact, about 3 or 4 songs on that album are by old people. There's a Van Morrison tune, Gloria. There's this one. There's Bob. This one, of course, 96 Tears, The Rolling Stones. There's a Bob Seger tune on it. A whole lot of other people showing that even if they can't reproduce the songs with half as much talent, they can at least play them and try. Helter Skelter, The Beatles by request from the White Album, and Flame, of course, Beg Me.
Roll for you on WBAB. It's music from Aerosmith and Toys in the Attic. Before that, a couple of tracks from Blue Oyster Cult, Stairway to the Stars, and then came The Last Days of May. 44 degrees.
It's all right. That's the Artful Dodger, and it's from their album entitled Artful Dodger. Before that, the Atlantic Rhythm Section and Sky High, and Ginger Baker's Air Force starting us off with Let Me Ride. 5 minutes ago until Sunday, April the 17th, here in WFUV in New York.
Lines form on my face and hands.
PK Poughkeepsie, the Hudson Valley Sound Choice with a listener's dream. Listen for details, 12 o'clock midnight with Dean Darling.
When I... All right by me. All right by
me. It's 20 minutes after 11 o'clock, and this is WSOU in South Orange. I'm Mike Bobowitz. This is Night Rock. We're in here until 2 o'clock this morning. The reason I started the show off with that somewhat inconsistent tale, if you would have it, is that that's more or less what happened to me the other day. It happens a lot, though, even when I'm scheduled to get up. Loud noises kind of send me through the roof, and that, and your eyes kind of pop open, and I walk around for at least 2 or 3 hours, kind of, what is going on? That was the case yesterday morning, and almost again today, but I managed to get back to sleep today. Started the show and the set-off with the Beatles from Sgt. Pepper and Good Morning, Good Morning. And then Rory Gallagher, Laundromat, and then Ross, and All Right By Me. WSOU is going to program the first...
Rock and roll. The Kids on the Street from a new album, The Hollywood Stars. Just picked up the beat that was so familiar to Slade with The Whole World's Gone Crazy. Hollywood Stars and Old Slade and Scott Muni. WNEW FM, Metro Media Stereo. Again, that set with AC/DC from that new album, Go Down. And the last rock and roller was from Bad Boy. And just then, Freeway from Bachman Turner Overdrive. 434 WNEW FM in New York.
Got the way back to 55 and From Beauty on a Back Street, and Winged Bull, and Crawler from the new one, Pastime Dreamer. We started with Bad Company, and Shooting Star.
I've had tracks, and I'm glad they put it on the live album. That's Home in My Hand, preceded by Fool for the City, the new Foghat live album. Bachman Turner Overdrive from their very first album, and Gimme Your Money Please. We heard Kiss with Come On and Love Me, and new from a group called the Boomtown Rats, and Mary of the Fourth Form.
Bones Love You, and that was Brown Sugar, of course, two classics, and it's only rock and roll. I got word just in, Muhammad Ali successfully...
I had to go back to that album because I found out that Eddie Cochran wrote that song, who started this whole set off. Eddie Cochran up top did Hallelujah, I Just Love Her So, a song which Humble Pie does on their Live at the Fillmore album. And Humble Pie of Smokin' did 30 Days in the Hole, and Small Faces, which Steve Marriott is involved with now. We heard Looking for a Love. And from the Giles Band we heard So Good and Come On Everybody. That's also from the Smokin' album.
And Collection, Anyway, Anyhow, Anywhere from The Who, Eddie and the Hot Rods before that from the new album, Life on the Line, and Do Anything You Want to Do, and the MC5 from an album that has just very recently been made available again by way of an import. The album known as Back in the USA and Shakin' Street. Then we heard from a band by the name of Mudrock, a bunch of crazed rock and rollers, obviously, in listening to them, who are British in nature. The album is an import. And as a matter of fact, the very first time I heard that album, and that particular track, was long before I ever came near a microphone. I happened to be listening to Scott Muni's British Hour. What was it, some 2, 3, 4 years ago, I suppose. Actually, it would have to have been more than that. 5, 6... who knows? New Year's, you know. Anyway, Mudrock was the name of the band, and that was off of their first album, which, as I said, was an import. They had one album after that, Mudrock Volume 2.
This will be just another love song for people to sing.
That is a song called Dandelion, written by Gary Cox from the group Artful Dodger, that appears on the album Honor Among Thieves. And that is a song written for Brian Jones. We heard Not Fade Away, Let's Spend the Night Together in Happy.
Moody Blues with I'll Be Level With You. And in the back of a best of album, that is Nazareth. And Born to Love, the name of the album is Hot Track. It's kind of like a greatest hits kind of album. Bad Company before, Run with the Pack, title track from that release. And Tush, ZZ Top. It's 12:28. I'm Ted Siegel. I got a few words to say to you at the end. Hang on a sec.
That was the Trigger interview, the Night Rock Music Profile, as they'd like to call it here at WSOU. And I hope everybody got into it. And I'd like to thank everybody for the big response on the albums. Okay, it really worked out pretty good. And thanks for calling. Okay, that was the Trigger interview. I'll probably air that a little bit later, on a later date sometime. You know, see what happens. Okay, we're gonna get back to some more music. And by the way, the people that did win the album, you're gonna have to come to the station and pick it up. We do not have a budget to send out these albums. We probably go broke. So you're going to have to come up here and ask for a guy named Barry Smith. He's the program director here. He'll give you the album. So come by anytime you want, ask for Barry Smith, and he'll give you the album, okay? Let's continue on with some music by Kansas.
That's when you smile.
Brand new. A song called Big Shot. And the name of the album, Stuart, Sand in Your Shoes. Elliot Murphy, and Caught Short in the Long Run before that, Lady Stiletto. Also Elliot Murphy from the Nightlights album, Lady Stiletto. And Stiletto, a new song from the new Billy Joel album starting.
In
Easy Livin'. From Demons and Wizards, we heard from Aphrodite's Child. 666, the title of the album. And The Four Horsemen is what we heard from Aphrodite's Child. ELO, two things from the El Dorado LP, Can't Get It Out of My Head and Boy Blue. And new music from Yes at the time.